digital is one aspect of your business, but the core of your business is actually designing fashion which appeals, which sounds very, very difficult and challenging because I think there's so many fashion companies by now, and even the ones who are not so expensive, like a Zara, is becoming very fashionable. So why did you start a fashion business?
You know, the beginning is always the same in this kind of cases. It's a dream, it's a passion, it's fascination. Otherwise, there is no sense to start with something like that. You know, I remember very well when 8 years ago, Karl Lagerfeld told me, Joanna, you are entering the most difficult and the most competitive business ever.
Maybe he only said that because he wants to scare you off, right?
No, I don't think so, but you know, and he said, you know, it's much more competitive and much more difficult than oil and gas and real estate business and etc. etc. I was laughing at the time, but if I would know today, if I would know then what I know today, I would be sure that he is right, because the business is, like you said, super competitive, very difficult, very complicated, and the situation when we are developing 4 collections a year, which are aging in weeks, almost hours, it's even worse.
Do you still have the winter and summer season, or is it all a blur now?
Yes, unfortunately, yes, because for example, jewelry company, they do something different. Yes, for example, Cartier, if they are having their love ring, something like a bestseller over years, they do it for every seasons, for years. And this is something what I'm so jealous about, because it's, you know, it's such a freedom.
The more fashionable it gets, the more perishable goods you have.
Yes.
It's like a vegetable, right?
And you worth exactly like your last collection. If you have done something wrong, you are done. That's all.
Sounds like conference business. Okay, so you started when?
We started exactly 7.5 years ago, and you know, because you asked what did I see, what kind of opportunity. I'm a lawyer. I was entrepreneur, having a dental, you know, chain of dental clinics and restaurants. So it was something completely different. But like I said, it was just out of passion. And I just started to do the things for myself, because every time I bought something very well known, it was spotted what I saw, for example, on the cover of Vogue. I was entering the party and it was at least 4 or 5 people wearing the same things. So I just started to do it for myself, and my friends all over the world, the jet setters who were having a fashion on the golden tray, they were keeping asking me, where is it from? Can I order the same, etc., etc. And it just made me realize there is a still gap for something timeless, for something very reasonable in terms of prices. And I just decided to go big from the beginning. So we entered the international market with British Fashion Council at the London's Fashion Week, and it was Harrods who believed in us, and they just broke their rules for us, and they said, okay, we believe in the collection. And
when you get into Harrods, will you get
it was 6.5
everywhere? Is it like a credibility or proof of concept stamp?
It is. You know, being under the roof of Harrods, it's like, you know, having a PhD, something like that. It's a proof that you can be, you know, the best, because this is, I believe in that, and I'm absolutely sure this is the best, the biggest and the best concept store.
But Harrods, they
world.
have really expensive stuff normally, right?
You're right.
Is La Mania expensive?
No. So our price point is definitely lower, but we are doing.
So let's talk about it. Are you dressed by La Mania today?
Yes.
How much is the dress?
You know, so the average price for the dress is like £800. So it's definitely lower than our neighbors, because, you know, what is important for sure for the startups, where you are located on in the
Shelf
concept
space.
store. That's right. So we are we're next to Givenchy and Balenciaga, and of course our price point is definitely lower, but our quality is the same. And this is like our key to success.
So let's talk a bit like how you got it done. I mean, the product design, you seem to be very interested in fashion, and let's call it that came natural. But getting the products out there, like what marketing are you doing? I think you are a social influencer in Poland. Did this help? Like how important was social, or how did you start?
You know, influential people always helps, and if you are like one by yourself, it's easier because you are just becoming independent. After doing Project Runway in Poland and many other shows, etc., of course, I became popular enough to be like a face of my own brand, which makes me completely free because I don't need to ask anyone to do it for me. But what is the most important right now, if I would have the same tools I'm having today, it would be so much easier.
Oh, yeah?
Because, you know, having Instagram, which is like an instant communication with the clients and with the audience, it's, it's a crucial thing because today is much more democratic than it was 8 years ago because you can do it for free. So even for the startups, for the fashion startups, sometimes if you have a product which is good enough to be worn by someone very well known, influential, you are sending those things, someone is posting that to the Instagram, and you know it's becoming worldwide known in a second.
And is it enough for those Instagrammers to post about La Mania if you give them the clothes for free, or you have to pay them?
I don't pay them, and I don't believe it. First of all, I do believe when I'm giving someone, you know, something, if it's liked by someone, if it's just about, you know, emotions. Fashion is about emotions. And by the way, as we know, and what is quite surprising, that everything we are buying doesn't matter what it is. Flowers, house, the car, whatever it is, we're buying 85% by emotions. And afterwards, we are trying to
justify it.
That's right.
Yeah. We had Porsche on stage this morning, and that's exactly what he said.
This is definitely emotions.
It's all about emotions.
Yes.
So for us, it's all about digital. How big is your sales now coming from selling online? I mean, Harrods is not seen as a very digital business.
Of course.
But how important is online for you? Are you on the platforms of like Farfetch, List, and so on and so forth? Are you selling direct, or?
We are selling direct, like from La Mania online, and this is like about 30% of our revenue, which is really, and it's really growing.
And then you have your own stores, I believe, right? So it's a omni-channel approach also.
Yes, so first of all, the offline and online today, it's like my main channels of the sell. And of course, what is I think the advice for the startup and for the people who are entering the scene of fashion, it's do not have any offline shop first.
Do not have?
Do not.
So you want to start online?
Definitely, because, you know, first of all, it's entering the obligation field. You know, having offline store, it means that you are having employees, you are having, you know, obligations, you are having pressure of paying the rent and many other.
Interesting.
You have your payroll is too full.
Have you heard of Best Secret?
No.
Because it's the best secret, I guess. No, we now have a company. I think they started with stores and they became digital also. I know I know the company for quite a long time because Daniel Schustermann, one of the founders, we kind of studied together in London like 20 years ago or even longer. So thank you very much, Joanna.
Thank you.
I guess internationalization is for you probably the next. So hopefully you meet some customers here. Thank you, Joanna.
Bye.